Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to compensate the 6Probe. Probe compensation is a routine that requires points to be taken with an SMR and then taken with a 6Probe to determine the probe length. Compensation is required whenever the probe tip is changed or adjusted, for example loosened or tightened. Before compensation, it's necessary to select and activate the appropriate probe from the probe management screen. You will need the 1.5" SMR and a 6Probe calibration artifact, which needs to be positioned between 3 to 5 meters away from the laser tracker. To begin the probe compensation procedure, we open probe management screen. We then need to select and activate the probe that we are using, in my case a 6x50mm probe. We click on it to activate it. Then we go to probe compensation in the top right hand corner of the probe management screen. The probe compensation screen will then open and then give you a command as to what to do next. In this case, secure the compensation nest. It's important to make sure the compensation nest is in a secure, stable table, ensuring that there's no chance of it moving during the procedure. If movement takes place, the chances are that the 6Probe compensation will fail. When you've got the nest secured, you can click number 1 on the side of the device, and that will move on to the next command, which is to switch to the 1.5" SMR. With active seek find in the center of the SMR, it will then take the first reading in the center of the artifact. It then will ask you to position the SMR on the base of the artifact to take 4 points around the side. Each time when stability is reached, the laser tracker will automatically take the reading. And the final point, point 4. After all the SMR points are taken, it then says to switch to the 6Probe. Ensure that the SMR is out the field of view of the laser tracker cameras, so it knows it now needs to use the 6Probe. Let active seek lock onto the 6Probe, and then we take our first point in a vertical orientation. So in this case we need to get pitch and yaw as close to 0 as we can possibly get. When we're happy we've got it close, we can click number 1 on the side of the 6Probe and take our first reading. 1 point calibrates the probe, but is recommended for additional points are taken in the yaw and pitch angles to validate the 6Probe calibration. During these subsequent points, the best way to truly report the deviations of the 6Probe and track it against the SMR measurement. So I'm going to take the next point in the yaw, which is a rotation in the vertical position, trying to keep pitch 0, and I take a reading. On the right hand side of the compensation screen you will see it gives you an accuracy value. In that last one is 10 microns. We take another one in the opposite direction in yaw, 27 microns. Then I'll lean in pitch, which is leaning backwards, keeping yaw as close to 0 as possible. And then a final point will be forward in the pitch direction. And I take a reading. After all the 4 points and you're happy that you've done enough, you can click number 2 on the side of the device. This will then tell you your results of your probe compensation. If you need to report the compensation values, we can go into details, tip errors, and that will give you the values you've got. The error are the actual values, and the specification is the tolerance that you have to fall within. As you can see, you would expect the errors to be below 50% of the accuracy spec. You can report these if needed, but if not, we can just update the compensation results. And that is how you compensate the 6Probe.